Toby, self-proclaimed godfather of N Street, better known as Spoons, is a local homeless man. In this interview, he gives us his perspective on transcendentalism and how it pertains to him as a 21st century transcendentalist. He follows a similar lifestyle as the famous transcendentalists before him, such as Thoreau, Emerson, and McCandless. Like Thoreau, he is a partial member of society. Although he spends much of his time secluded in the woods behind the Graff Rank, he can also be seen walking the streets of downtown Newburyport. Spoons also relates to McCandless because of his desire to travel and to give money to those who are in need. Lastly, he was a religious and self-reliant man, like Emerson, believing that you didn't deserve anything you couldn't get on your own.
Last project is on transcendentalism. Have you ever heard of that? So, it's the idea of removing oneself from society and living in nature, exploring your inner self. And what do you think transcendentalism means to you? What do you think that?
To me, that means being totally free and gaining a respect for happiness.
Right.
Which I do.
Right?
I've been on the street 41 years, young man. I'm 61.
Wow.
I'm still having fun. I put my feet on the ground every morning and get her down.
That's awesome.
No, that's not a joke. That's how I
great.
feel.
That's awesome.
This is where you get to meet real people out here.
If you were
You
to
don't meet
become a
phonies out
transcendentalist,
here.
and try to explore like what the ideals of that would be, where would you go to do that? Where would you go to explore that?
Probably Mount Washington.
So you'd say get away from society, somewhere where you're not going to be disrupted.
Either that or... All right, let me think on that for a minute. That was my first response. Let me just give me a couple minutes. Either that or Lake Winnipesaukee. Somewhere.
What is it about those places that you think is a good place?
Because I also love critters. I love animals. I love nature. Be a transcendentalist. You have to really get in your own heart and soul and become one with nature.
Clearly, the way that they understood nature and human nature was that they were looking for the divine in both places, and they didn't separate human nature from the world out there. They believed that the natural world was really almost like it was symbolic of spiritual truths.
And you have to understand the critters and the animals around you that you're going to see every night. And, sometimes you feed them, like I'll give them a can of tuna fish or something. They can make it up on their own. But not to get religious on you, but, they're God's creatures too. They need to eat just like us. And I have no problem with them because sometimes they have a problem getting food.
Do you think the quest of transcendentalism is worth death? Is it worth risking death to achieve transcendentalism?
It depends on one's perspective.
What's your perspective?
My perspective is no, because I want to live too much.
Yeah.
And if you see, this is the most powerful weapon in the world right here. And if you learn to use it out here, okay, you don't have to worry about death. And all right, I'm going to say something because this is just my belief. But I believe in God and Jesus. And I am a Christian. And, if God's for you, who can be against you? No, that's what I believe. That's what I believe, and He helps me survive out here. Like, I hold a sign every once in a while, and I've had this young man, probably about your age, come up to me, hand me a burger from Wendy's and fries and a ton. He said, "Here, God will always be watching over you." And that meant a lot to me. That was a message. No, I believe that. And I also believe there are angels on earth that protect us, so... No, I'm not afraid of dying. And I don't think anyone really has to put themselves in a position out here to die. What sense does that make? No, that's an honest question. I'm giving you an honest answer how I feel.
Do you think that an education is important to achieve transcendentalism?
No. Because I graduated Phillips Exeter Academy, and I have a Bachelor of Arts in Business Management from USM. So, No, University of Southern Maine. No, no. Don't matter. As long, like I said, as long as you can use your head and listen to people that are trying to encourage you along the way.
Their religion was to be active and to participate in the world. It wasn't just an escape from society.
Like, I help people that come to the street. I talk to them. I was an advocate for the homeless up in Portland, Maine for 5 years. I did go training for that. And you go out and you help people, and if they'll listen, okay. If they won't, well, that's on them. If they won't listen to some of the tricks of the trade, how to survive, survival techniques, and, the places you go to get meals, the places you go to get free food.
Do you think it is important to be away from society? Do you think it's important for every person to at one point, achieve that?
At one point, like the workforce, the stress and everything, when you go on a vacation, it's good to go up to the mountains or go somewhere away from society for a while, maybe with your loved ones, go camping, go fishing, go ski down a mountain, just have total freedom and just let it all go,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Prior to this interview, we were apprehensive about approaching him and also unsure of what we could gain from it. To our surprise, we discovered that there are men like Thoreau, Emerson, and McCandless within our sheltered community. From this interview, we have learned that transcendentalism manifests itself in unexpected places.
Is transcendentalism an important aspect of our society today?
I suspect yes, because I think the beginning of looking at the natural world as being us being part of that, like there being a web of existence that is interrelated. I think that many of the transcendentalists were instrumental in that movement to looking at nature in a different way than just as something to be used and mined or abused. The transcendentalists looked at religion and nature and so forth is still it's very much a part of how we live today.
Save your strength for things that you can't change. Forgive the ones you can't. You gotta let it go.